We're going to hear about the very exciting and innovative Blue Zone initiative that Airdrie Health and the City of Airdrie have undertaken, all in their ambition to be Canada's healthiest community. We have with us today two presenters. First is Marlene Rasek, and Marlene's a board member with Airdrie Health. And we have Ken Rupert, who's the executive director for Airdrie Health and Blue Zone, or just Blue Zone? Just Blue Zone. Just Blue Zone, he says. Blue Zone, as you'll learn, is a significant and large initiative. So Kent and Marlene will be telling us more about that, and then be open to your questions. So please join me in welcoming Marlene and Kent.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to do the introduction around individual and community capacity for healthy aging and healthy living. We're all here because of this goal. We've had the benefit already of learning from Sarah about that interesting initiative about wellness that is connecting, integrating health, community, and particularly empowering individuals because of the person-focused technology that they have. We've just heard Karen's presentation about strengthening the senior serving sector, and again, the overlaps, and with the digital support, helping us, in this case, both for individual well-being and community prosperity and appropriate use of healthcare services. We're going to talk now about individual and community capacity. Mike and the mayor mentioned that we have a bold vision in Airdrie, own our own health, becoming Canada's healthiest city. We have a community health plan based on feedback from our community that has initiatives in each of these areas and the digital. Blue Zones is by far the most significant initiative that we have underway in our community. Why? It's about the opportunity for community-led work, community ownership. It's about changing the environment, making the healthy choices the easy choices. It's all an engagement, the largest engagement this community has ever seen regarding health, and we will have new measurement tools to help individuals and the community learn and to be accountable for our journey for health. We've begun thanks to the partners. We couldn't do this without the city, which you heard, as both for their money, but really for the municipal leadership. The contributions of Alberta Blue Cross as our measurement partner, significant. Alberta Health Services through our MOU for expertise and advice. And donors and granting agencies that are making possible this journey. So, Blue Zones, an opportunity to build on what we're doing there to enhance community capacity for healthy living and aging. 3 reasons why this is such an opportunity for healthy living and aging. Yes, 20% of our population is 50 plus, an opportunity to think early about retirement, caregiving, and healthy living. But the most important aspect of Blue Zones is we're doing this with an intergenerational lens. Second, Blue Zones methodology is anchored with their power of 9. You can see it there. What's so important is that those aspects of the power of 9 address the modifiable factors for chronic disease from AHS, and they also have promising practices of prevention for dementia. And as you look at moving naturally, you can see across. The right outlook, you can see the opportunities to reduce stress and increase cognitive activity. Eating wisely, nothing more needs to be said. Belonging about, and all the aspects of that for stress, social engagement, cognitive activity, and from a policy point of view, Blue Zones will be addressing tobacco control. Third, the Blue Zones approach is one of integrating across the community. Places, our built environment, etc. Our policies, our built environment, the places that you'll see, and people, all in a blueprint for change. And as we Canadianize the Blue Zones materials, we have opportunities to integrate important policy directions in this province, such as Alberta Seniors and Housing Checklist for Age-Friendly Communities, and other leading practices. We will be developing new measurement tools. So now we have other opportunities for further discussion potentially with our well-being health risk assessment tool and some of the measures there and the profiles that we will be building, which might link to 211 and Garda. So we're on the move. Kent's going to talk about our journey, but think about healthy aging, healthy living, environments for healthy living for all ages. We can see them there. And most importantly, there will be opportunities for aging adults like all of us in this room who live in Airdrie to be engaged in our own health through a personal pledge and the health risk assessment so that we can learn, take action, and see new opportunities for active and healthy living. So over to you, Kent, for our journey.
Good morning, and thank you everyone for the opportunity, and Marlene for that introduction of the Blue Zones. I'm going to get a little bit deeper into it. So Marlene touched on a number of different pieces, but I'm going to touch base a little bit. Who here has actually heard about the Blue Zone projects or the original Blue Zones? Excellent. So most of you are well aware of what's happening in it. And it's how exciting it is to bring it here. But the Airdrie Blue Zones project is really a longevity program that helps people lead longer, but just as importantly, happier and healthier lives. There we go. So as Marlene mentioned, we're not doing this alone. We have a number of partners. Certainly this initiative wouldn't be here without Brio Health and the work that they're doing. And we're really excited that we have agreements with Alberta Health Services and Blue Cross that Marlene mentioned. And of course, Mayor Brown is a big driver of this in the city of Airdrie, and the city of Airdrie staff have been very, very supportive. We also want to recognize that the Calgary Foundation and a number of our donors in the Airdrie area, the Calgary region, have been very instrumental in this as well. So Airdrie has the privilege of being the first international project outside of the U.S. One success will lead as an example for other Alberta communities when looking at all the social determinants of health and healthy living. You'll see from my presentation that this has the opportunity to change the way we think about health and aging at all ages throughout the province. So what are Blue Zones? Blue Zone projects all start with one man's vision. Dan Buettner, an explorer who traveled around the globe and started to notice areas of the world where people were living to be over 100 on a consistent basis. Not only were they living longer, but they are happier and they are healthier. So he dubbed these areas Blue Zones and published the results initially in National Geographic in 2005. Interestingly enough, this is still the third best-selling issue ever of National Geographic. So the original Blue Zones regions include Icaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Loma Linda, California, Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica, and Okinawa, Japan. In these Blue Zones, they found that people reached the age 100 at rates as high as 10 times greater than in North America. They also added more quality years to their lives and reported higher rates of well-being. After identifying these world Blue Zones, Dan and National Geographic took teams of scientists and demographers to each location to identify lifestyle characteristics that might explain this longevity. They found that these lifestyles and all the Blue Zone residents shared 9 specific characteristics that Marlene mentioned, and these are called the Power 9. The Power 9 lifestyle principles are small, easy steps that everyone can take in their daily lives to live better lives. These simple behaviors include moving naturally, having purpose, downshifting, the 80% rule around eating, slant plant within our diets, wine at 5 or friends at 5, depending where you're at, having a sense of belonging, putting loved ones first, and connecting with the right tribe. Based on the Power 9 principles, Blue Zones created a community-wide model as they call the Blue Zones Project. There are currently 49 Blue Zones throughout the United States, and we're happy to say that we're the first Canadian project and the first international Blue Zone project. Through these projects, we've already seen more than 3 million lives impacted. So in my opinion, the Blue Zones project is coming at the right time. As our country is facing major healthcare epidemics, 64% of Canadians can be classified as overweight or obese, and we may be living longer than previous generations, but we're living sicker. And for the first time in history, it's projected that our children's life expectancy will be shorter than that of their parents. We're also fortunate to live in this great country, but we live in an environment of abundance and ease that encourages unhealthy choices, and we are bombarded with unhealthy messaging daily. We're also seeing higher rates of loneliness and social isolation contributing to health issues. The Blue Zone project focuses on making changes to the environment at the grassroots level to nudge people towards healthier choices. In 1999, the Danish twin study established that 80% of longevity is determined by lifestyle factors in the environment, with only 20% determined by our genes. This study showed that your family medical history does not have to become your personal destiny. Blue Zone projects take into account social determinants and understand the positives and the negatives of people's patterns and relationships, the surroundings where they spend their time, and the cultures and formal policies they're exposed to in their daily lives. We call these zones where people spend their time life radius. It is the 15-kilometer radius where people spend their time between their home, their work, and their social activities. Through the Airdrie Blue Zones project, we will be working with people, places, and policy that Marlene mentioned, with set baseline metrics in each area to ensure we are measuring and reaching the tipping point for change. The original Blue Zones, people didn't set out to be healthy. Their environment nudged them in that direction. It was all part of their lifestyle. Our goal is to make changes in this community that make the healthier choice the easier choice and nudge us in a positive direction. As mentioned, our project will set out to transform Airdrie through people's, places, and policy interventions. So let's focus on people. The Blue Zone project engages people in activities that change mindsets and habits in lasting ways. Our individual engagement starts at sessions like this, where we're having today, allowing people to learn more about our project. When we officially launch the project in June, we will be encouraging residents to sign personal pledges, which include a checklist with items covering Power 9 principles and encouraging people to get involved in the Blue Zone project activity. So you Airdrie residents, you've sort of seen, figure out which ones you're good at and which ones you might have to update a little bit. We will offer programs such as purpose workshops, walking and potluck groups, or as we call them, MOIs, and cooking demonstrations, to mention a few. When community members can identify their passions, talents, and values, they uncover their sense of purpose. Once that happens, we will work with the community to help people find ways to volunteer or put their purpose to work, enriching their lives and the lives of others within the community. When all these things come together, the results of a healthier culture that embraces Power 9 principles for living better and longer. So let's talk a little bit about places. To improve the places you go, we will engage a critical mass of organizations to make permanent changes in their environments and adopt policies that will continue to nudge people towards these healthier choices. These include working with grocery stores, restaurants, schools, work sites, and civic and faith-based organizations. Since most of us spend more than 40% of our day at work, employers play a critical role in shaping the workplace environment that make the healthier choice the easier choice. Blue Zone projects can help employers leverage the workplace to dramatically improve employee well-being in a variety of ways that can be transferred into the home environment as well. Businesses that have participated in the Blue Zone project have seen decrease in absenteeism, increase in job satisfaction, and overall improvement of their bottom line. School leaders are the most powerful position to dramatically improve students' well-being. Students with higher well-being are more engaged and perform better in the classroom. Blue Zone projects have created a pledge consisting of evidence-based best practices from around the world and are proven to optimize school environments to better promote physical, social, and emotional well-being. Schools engaged in the Blue Zone project have seen an increase in fresh fruit and vegetable consumptions, more students engaged in active transportation, and a decrease in child obesity. Many schools have also decided to become Blue Zone project work sites to support teachers and staff well-being so that these important adult leaders can model well-being for their students. Restaurants and grocery stores play a key role in Blue Zone project as well, as more and more customers are seeking healthier options when eating out or buying groceries. Blue Zone projects will create a pledge that will nudge people towards healthy choices, improve sales, and grow customer base, all while improving customer health. Examples of common best practices in grocery stores are grab and grow healthy options, Blue Zone project healthy checkout lanes, and shelf talkers that highlight Blue Zone's foods. Many restaurants choose to feature plant-based entrees, offer half-size portions, and healthy sides like salad as a default instead of a typical offering of French fries. Yeah, you can still have your French fries. Lastly, we work to implement healthy policy changes in our community, including built environment, food policy, and tobacco policy. Throughout each of these areas, we'll also be looking at how these changes can help improve overall mental health and healthy aging. We believe policy is one of the most profound ways we can improve community well-being. City policies impact everyone in the community, regardless of whether they are aware of or engaged in Blue Zone projects, and they are long-lasting. Where traditional health improvement programs rely on behavior changes alone, Blue Zone projects takes a full environmental and community approach to improving well-being. Our goal is to move a community towards better well-being, reducing the risk factors that impact healthcare costs, while improving the economic and social vitality of a community. So does Blue Zone's projects work? Like mentioned earlier, since the inception of the program, over 49 communities in the US and 3 million lives have been impacted. Albert Lee, the first Blue Zone in 2009, was in a recession when they started. In the 11 years of their projects, they've seen 49% decrease in healthcare claims and has seen substantial investment within their community. Fort Worth, Texas went from being one of the most unhealthiest communities to one of the healthiest communities in the US, with a 31% drop rate of smoking rates. Southwest Florida, the Naples region, has ranked healthiest in the nation in 4 years in a row. Beach cities saw a 15% drop in overweight and obese adults between 2010 and 2015. These are just a few examples of how the program's working with some great outcomes. This is all about community transformation, and the Blue Zones project will set a process which will work us towards a goal of certification in 2.5 years. Certification means that we've met set predetermined metrics in each of our areas of work, people, places, and policies to ensure that the momentum of healthy behaviors outlive the program. We are currently in the foundation and planning stage and have been meeting with civic groups and community leaders to ensure that the program is truly grassroots and reflects the needs and wishes of the community. Since December, we've engaged well over 175 community leaders and organizations. We've hired a local team of 5 professionals and have began engagement in the process and are already tailoring the program to meet our community needs along with provincial needs. Last week, we completed a built environment summit where we met with developers, the city of Airdrie, and a number of different groups in the built environment area. And this week, we actually have a food summit where we were sitting down collectively with restaurants, the food bank, and any other food service agencies. And then thirdly, we have a tobacco summit coming up in March 12th that will be meeting with a number of groups as well. This will lead us to our 2 years of transformation goal certification by the spring of 2020. All these meetings are leading up to having our blueprint, or basically our work plan, ready by the end of May and official launch in the community in June. Again, this wouldn't have been made possible without Real Health bringing Blue Zones to Airdrie, without the great assistance of all our partners that I mentioned earlier. And of course, the Airdrie community, who is really the driver behind this community-based initiative like this. We are so happy how all areas of the community are embracing this project and to this point and making Airdrie Canada's healthiest community. Currently, we still have a ways to go, but we're well on our way of making sure that Airdrie and Albertans are living not only longer lives, but just as importantly, healthier and happy lives. You can now follow us on our Airdrie Blue Zones project through our Facebook page and learn more about Airdrie, or learn more about us at airdrie.bluezonesproject.com. Thank you again for allowing me to speak here today and present this amazing project, and stay healthy. Thank you.